City guys, my name is M.O.A.B, and today I'm bringing you guys another episode of my high school stories. And today I'm joined by my good friend Dean, who I've mentioned before, many times before in my other high school stories. So what's going on, Dean?
Hey, not too much. How's it going, man?
I'm all right. So you have a high school story for us that you want to tell?
Yeah, well, you were there, but I can probably tell better than you myself anyway.
Probably.
Anyway, you want me to go ahead and just tell the story?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right, so this is probably one of my favorite things that we did in high school that I actually managed to get out of among the
Many, many.
many things we've done. Probably the closest I've ever been to actually getting expelled. Um, there's actually only ever been 3 times I was close to being expelled. All 3 times in which I was gotten out of. Okay, so pretty much what happened was Arteman here, he was dating this one girl at the time period, and we were all just kind of skipping class, wandering the hallways, goofing around and stuff like that. And well, what happened was, okay, so the only way I can explain it, I'm gonna have to describe some of the scenery here. Pretty much, there was the library, and then in front of the doors to the library, obviously there was a hallway out in front of the library, and then across, like basically directly across the doors, there was another hallway and like another set of doors blocking off that hallway, which is where classes were. So we were just all kind of just joking around and stuff like that, and Armin's girlfriend at the time actually didn't have her belt on; it was just kind of like wrapped around her bag. So as a joke, what we did was we got her to go onto the other side of the door, and then we quickly tied her belt around the door. This was like a little joke, and then, you know, I decided to tie it a little too tight. Well, it just so happened that at that moment in time, the bell rang.
Wait, you forgot to mention that she kept pushing on it, and which made the knot on the belt even
Oh
tighter.
yeah, there was that, because she was a little pissed off, and she was kind of yeah. That was pretty funny.
So yeah, the bell rang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the bell ended up ringing, and we were just dying of laughter by this point, just because she was stuck. Well, what happened was all of a sudden you have hundreds of people pouring out into the hallways, all of them trying to go through the door, and they weren't able to. So what happened was people all of a sudden getting got up to the door, and then they were kind of like getting stuck against the door. None of them were able to get it open. And then, of course, you get the guys at the back, like the bigger, older guys. They actually started pushing, so people all of a sudden were like smushed up against the glass on the door, and we were probably the biggest mistake we made was not leaving the scene of the crime. We were actually on the floor, like dying of laughter. And anyway, there was like this one teacher, and she was actually one of the people up against the door, and she was like screaming at me to open the door, and I couldn't take her seriously at all.
Yeah, we didn't even make an attempt to get the fucking belt off.
Yeah. Anyway, so after all that finally cleared up, we were still at the scene of the crime because I was literally like doubled over in pain, and the teacher ended up coming around, and she dragged me to the office, and she made me get scissors and cut the belt off. Probably the biggest mistake was she actually gave me dull scissors, so she was yelling at me to cut it, and I couldn't. And by this point, Arneman and all those guys were all gone because all of them ended up taking off. I took the heat for it all because it was me, and I wasn't gonna make them take the blame. So anyway, I'm trying to cut the belt off, and I wasn't able to. Probably after like 10 minutes, I was actually able to get the belt off the door, and I got sent to the principal's office. Actually, it was the vice principal's office at the time. She was
What was your punishment?
okay. Well, the original punishment was I was going to be expelled, and I was going to have to attend another school at the time period. I then managed to, through a series of waterworks and blaming it on other people. Pretty much what I said was that my description was that I put it around the door as a joke, and I didn't tie it tightly at all. And there was a very, very intimidating, African male who was pushing on the door, and she asked me to describe him and stuff like that. And I said, oh, he's wearing one of those big baggy coats with the fur on the hood, which pretty well described almost every guy in the school at the time. And she just looked at me. She's like, I understand. Anyway,
Yeah, didn't they want you to make to write lines or something like
no,
that, or write
okay,
an
yeah,
essay?
yeah. So what happened was, after everything, it went from me being expelled to me being suspended for 2 months to me being suspended for 2 weeks. I ended up getting it all the way down I actually ended up getting it all the way down to I just had to write a one-page essay on fire safety. And
It's funny. It's just hilarious how you managed to haggle them down to how it all came down to like fire safety.
yeah, well, because basically their biggest point was I kept asking them, like what did I do that was that wrong? Nobody got hurt, and they were like, well, in an emergency, what would have happened? And I was just agreeing with them. I was just being like, oh, you're so right. I never thought about that. People could have died, and I was just going on like that, and we ended up working it down to a one-page essay on fire safety, which I can gladly say I copied and pasted from offline. So
I was just gonna say you probably half-assed that essay, didn't
I
you?
didn't do anything. My mom, even my mother, she was dying of laughter after I got out of it because, obviously they were in contact with her the whole time of what was going on, and oh, that was just too priceless. So that was probably the closest I ever actually came to getting expelled.
I
Oh,
just can't believe they want to expel you for that.
yeah, I know. And okay, this was the best part. After I blamed it and everything like that, there was we ended up noticing that there was a school security camera on that door. I
Oh
I
yeah,
guess
and they never
yeah, they
checked it
never checked it.
because you gave them such a vague description. You think they would look at
Yeah, I know.
the security camera to catch this person who made it worse or
Yeah.
whatever. Man, I don't know what the point was of having those cameras around the school because we did so much shit and they never caught us, even though they had the cameras all around.
Yep. And I remember even the one time they actually had the camera and they showed it on camera and it was the back of my head, right? And
Yeah, wasn't it? That was when I told the story before. That was when you guys we were stacking the
chairs,
chairs up
and
and
I ended up getting that same girl's belt suspended
yeah,
because she was the one skipping class and I was the one doing everything.
and she by herself had to pay back everything for all the chairs
Yep.
that she broke.
Yeah, that was her bad for being there though. People should just know by now not to not really hang around me. I'm a bad influence.
Yes, you are. All right, man. Thanks for coming on and sharing your story. If you guys enjoyed that story, I mean, you want to see more, don't forget to leave a rating and let me know what you thought about his story. And don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. And as always, stay dirty.